Oleksandr Usyk, the undisputed heavyweight champion and one of boxing's most skilled technicians, has stunned the fight world by revealing he's open to making his MMA debut, and that too against none other than Jake Paul. After months of Paul publicly calling him out and daring to share the cage with him, Usyk has now hinted at answering that challenge head on, setting up the possibility of a crossover showdown that blends pure boxing mastery with MMA spectacle, and promising one of the most interesting what-if matchups combat sports has ever seen.
I just saw Jake Paul facing off with Oleksandr Usyk. I mean, what is going on? The pound-for-pound #1 fighter in the world, he's facing off.
After Jake Paul stormed the ring for a tense face-off, Oleksandr Usyk didn't shy away from the challenge, making it clear he's willing to meet Paul under MMA rules, though he joked about needing some rest after his grueling run of fights. Now, with a fresh tweet signaling he's finally ready to go, the undisputed heavyweight champion has reignited buzz around a potential clash with the YouTuber-turned-fighter, turning what once seemed like trash talk into a very real possibility.
Paul came to the ring and make a face-off with you. Are you ready to go to the ring with Jake Paul? Sergey, are you ready to make this fight?
I'm ready to fight with Jake Paul.
On MMA rules? Yes, I'm ready, but I need to rest.
Зачекай, хай не поспілкується.
What started this all was Jake Paul showing interest in a matchup and admitted that the idea of facing Oleksandr Usyk in MMA is both exciting and terrifying. Speaking on the potential showdown, Paul revealed that Usyk himself called him out for an MMA fight, and now their teams are in talks to make it happen. While he acknowledged the magnitude of stepping in against the man who dethroned Tyson Fury, Paul confessed the thought of Usyk's toughness and fight IQ actually scares him more than a boxing clash with Anthony Joshua. Still, he made it clear that despite jokingly confusing Usyk's background, he respects the Ukrainian's killer instinct and is seriously intrigued by the challenge.
We heard that you were challenging Usyk to a street fight in MMA. Is that true?
Well, yeah, he called me out to do MMA.
And we're talking about heavyweight Usyk who beat Tyson Fury.
Yeah, he wants to fight me in MMA, and our teams are talking, and I'm interested in it.
That'd be huge.
To be honest, that scares me more than any of the other shit that scares me more than fighting Anthony Joshua for sure.
But you know Usyk's a wrestler.
I think, yeah, he's like an Olympic wrestler.
Yeah,
or
he
some
knows how
shit.
to wrestle.
Whoa, Olympic wrestler?
Usyk's a dog. He knows how to wrestle, he knows how to fight, he knows how to kill.
At the same time, Paul hasn't shied away from showing respect for Usyk's accomplishments, especially after his victory over Dubois, where he praised him as one of the greatest and even suggested there's something unique about people born on Usyk's birthday. To Paul, Usyk isn't just another champion, but he's built differently, a once-in-a-generation fighter whose greatness is undeniable, making the prospect of sharing the cage with him all the more daunting and enticing.
Oleksandr Usyk again, what did you make of his performance?
Yeah, incredible. Like he proved that once again that he's one of the greatest of all time. Respect to him. I think people that are born on his birthday are...
Not everyone, however, sees the matchup in the same light. Former world champion George Groves questioned why Usyk, who is widely regarded as one of the best fighters of his generation, would even engage in a back and forth with Paul. To Groves, it almost feels like the Ukrainian is lowering himself by entertaining the YouTuber turned boxer. Still, he admitted some of the criticism might come down to jealousy, with plenty of ex-fighters hoping for a lucrative Paul payday, only to watch him set his sights on a reigning world champion still at the top of the sport.
He's called out Usyk, and Usyk's come back at him and said, yeah, won't be long. I mean, why is it Usyk lowering himself? The greatest of great champions to have a row with Jake Paul.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think there was a lot of noses put out of joint when, you know, maybe people in my situation who are ex-fighters who think, I could get the Jake Paul fight. And then turns out he's picked, you know, the former lightweight champion in the world who's still boxing. It's like, because he's bounced from Joshua to this.
Yeah. Let's not give him any more.
That debate was carried further by promoter Eddie Hearn, who flat out dismissed the idea of Jake Paul ever becoming a world champion. In a fiery exchange, Hearn argued that wins over retired MMA fighters, or even a single victory against Tommy Fury, don't prove he belongs among elite contenders. Paul, of course, fired back, defending his record and pointing out that striking is the foundation of MMA. But Hearn stood firm, making it clear that until Jake beats established, world-class boxers, any talk of him capturing a world title is nothing more than a dream.
Everyone's entitled to have a dream. No, seriously, I'm being serious. I think there's absolutely no way he can beat a world champion and become world champion. But I will say he's improving a lot. He's dedicated to the sport. I don't know how good he is because he hasn't really faced a real fighter yet. It's not his fault. He signed to fight Tommy Fury.
A five-time world champion in Tyron Woodley's a real fighter.
He's not a real boxer. He's not, Jake.
Well, I
Jake,
mean, the
he
first
can't.
skill at MMA
No,
is
but
boxing.
Jake,
he
can't.
won the UFC
Jake,
championship with a right hand.
He's a great UFC
But
fighter.
you consider Tommy Fury a real boxer?
Yes, but I'm not in terms of
So
ability. But listen. But
So what defines a real boxer?
A real boxer is
There's
someone
these
that is his
journeymen
craft.
like Andy Bishop who have
Who's
10.
Andy Bishop?
Exactly, but he's a real boxer, right?
but-
Because anyone can go and get a professional.
Okay, but what I'm
boxing
saying is, Usman does not qualify to give you any right to talk about you fighting for a world title, and nor does Tommy Fury actually. But I give you the props, I give you the respect. You're improving all the time, but the proof will be in the pudding. I don't believe. By the way, I've said that I think Jake Paul is better than some fighters, but I don't believe you will ever get close to being a world-class fighter.
Hearn went further and frowned at Jake Paul facing off with Usyk. He confessed it felt surreal to see the pound-for-pound #1 fighter in the world standing nose-to-nose with a YouTuber turned boxer. In Hearn's words, it summed up just how bizarre and unpredictable the fight game has become.
I think right now, to be honest with you, in this bizarre world, I mean, I just saw Jake Paul facing off with Oleksandr Usyk. I mean, what is going on? The pound-for-pound #1 fighter in the world, he's facing off with Jake.
Carl Froch, meanwhile, went in with no filter, daring Jake Paul to actually put his money where his mouth is and fight Usyk next. In Froch's view, it wouldn't even be competitive, and he predicted the Ukrainian would flatten Paul with ease and bring the circus to a crashing halt. True to form, Froch ended his rant with a blunt dismissal, telling Paul to piss off and stop chasing attention he hasn't earned.
But actually now, Jake Paul has got to think about what he's doing next. If you're that good and you think you're clever, why don't you fight Usyk? Alexander Usyk, he'll fight you. Let's see how that works out for you. You get fucking flattened. Game over. Jake Paul, go on, piss off.
And when I pointed out how Jake Paul, love him or hate him, is a money-making machine who can turn any fight into a spectacle, and if Usyk wanted to take that payday, no one could blame him. Derek Chisora doubled down on that sentiment, saying Usyk has earned the right to do whatever he wants. If that means pocketing £50 million to flatten Jake Paul, Chisora said he'd be front row cheering. For him, fighters like Paul, KSI, and Logan Paul are self-made giants of the YouTube era, mega gods who don't need the traditional boxing machine behind them, and he respects that hustle even if purists scoff.
Jake Paul was in the ring with him afterwards, right? And say what you like about Jake Paul pretending he's a proper boxer and he can beat up AJ, what have you. The dude generates mental money, crazy money. And if Oleksandr Usyk wants to fight him, I wouldn't care. You know, like most boxers, when I see them call out Jake Paul, I think, come on, man.
You don't care because he deserves to...
That man can do what he wants.
Yeah.
That man can do anything he wants. And if he can get paid £50 million to knock Jake Paul's spark out, I'd be front row cheering.
Listen, I saw Jake Paul and I say congratulations to him because he proposed his lovely wife to be. And I say, listen, keep doing what you're doing. You know, because I remember when Teki Al-Shay came in the game, he goes, "One, we don't promote no YouTube boxing."
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, why did you say that? What did you? I was like to myself, why did he say that? Don't he know the force of these young guys? Jake Paul, KSI, Logan Paul, you know, Speed. Man, these guys are mega gods in the YouTube game.
Yeah.
They don't need nobody.
Chisora went further, pointing out that guys like Jake Paul have been building this kind of influence since they were kids. At first, even he wondered why boxing needed them, but eventually realized you can't fight the wave, then you either join it or get left behind. To him, Paul isn't just dabbling, he's a genuine content creator who's found another lane in boxing. And if Usyk one day decided to cash in on that crossover energy, even for a fun charity fight back in Ukraine, Chisora saw nothing wrong with it.
They do it themselves. They've been doing it since they were young kids. And when he said that, I was like, why? And then fast forward later on, he's taking photos with Jake Paul, KSI, Speed. He realized he cannot beat these young kids. So what you do, you join them. Yeah, because these guys are on fire. Yeah. When I saw this is not like a prop of trying. He's a content creator. Yeah. You use this down the line when Usyk's retired and say, I'll give it a go. Why not? For charity.
However, Joe Rogan doesn't undermine Jake Paul's ability and offered a different perspective on his rise, arguing that if Paul weren't a YouTuber and was judged solely as a boxer, people would view him much differently. He pointed out that knocking out a former UFC welterweight champion who was one of the best to ever do it shouldn't be taken lightly, especially with the kind of one-punch power Paul displayed. To Rogan, nothing about Paul's performances suggests he's out of his depth. In fact, he insists Paul looks like a legitimate boxer making real progress in the sport.
If Jake Paul wasn't Jake Paul, if he wasn't this YouTube guy, he was just a boxer, and you see a boxer knock out the former UFC welterweight champion, not just the former, but one of the best ever, knock him out with one punch like that, like, oh man, have you seen this Jake Paul dude coming up? He's fucking for real. Because nothing about watching him fight, to me, screams like he's in over his head. Nothing. He looks like a real boxer.
And Terrence Crawford share a similar sentiment, admitting he was also skeptical at first and brushed Paul off as just another YouTuber cashing in on fame. But as time went on, Crawford said Paul's dedication and steady improvement became impossible to ignore. With real power in his right hand and a clear commitment to getting better, Crawford now believes Paul is genuinely taking the sport seriously and proving he can fight.
Is Jake Paul boxing?
Yes.
I think that answer will shock a lot of people.
At first I was against it. I'm like, man, yeah, them dudes just using their YouTube status to come in boxing and make all this money. After watching them and seeing the seriousness that he's taking, sitting there, and I'm like, man, this dude can punch with that right hand. This dude really getting better. Like, he really can fight.
Building on the discussion, Joe Rogan shifted his focus to Oleksandr Usyk from Jake Paul, praising him as one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. He marveled at Usyk's resume, beating Anthony Joshua twice, outclassing Tyson Fury, and handling Daniel Dubois with ease, and called it nothing short of remarkable. What sets Usyk apart, Rogan explained, is his relentless movement and unique style that leaves opponents mentally and physically drained. There are no pauses, no silent agreements in the ring, with Usyk just constant pressure, twitching, and angles that keep his rivals guessing every second of the fight, and it's safe to assume Rogan, by his words, is giving the edge to Oleksandr.
He's so fucking good. He's so good. I mean, you think about what that guy has done. He beat AJ twice. He beat Tyson Fury twice. And now he beat Dubois twice.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
No, it's incredible.
Those are two of the best, like, of this era. I think he's one of the best of all time. I really do. I think he's one of the best heavyweights of all time. And his movement is so different. One of the things that was interesting, where they were talking about the fight, and AJ was, Tony Bellows was talking about when he fought him. And AJ was saying that when he fought him, it was the most exhausted he's ever been. Because he's always moving. There's no rest with him.
No rest.
There's
no
like
time
constant,
yeah.
there's constant twitching.
Under fire the whole time.
you're constantly thinking, when is this coming? There's no silent agreements. There's no relaxation. There's no rounds off.
Derek Chisora has repeated the same wave of admiration for Oleksandr Usyk, making it clear that when it comes to the Ukrainian, you simply cannot box him. He's on another level entirely. Chisora emphasized that Usyk isn't just good, he's extraordinary, a fighter whose skill and brilliance defy explanation. In his eyes, Usyk stands as the white Muhammad Ali of this generation, a heavyweight who might not talk like Ali, but carries that same aura of untouchable greatness inside the ropes. For Chisora, there's no debate, Usyk is that guy, a once-in-a-lifetime talent who deserves every ounce of recognition and respect, making it clear no one can get to his level, not even Jake Paul.
Everybody gets it wrong. You don't box this guy. It's like, how can I explain it to you in a way you understand? You can't box him.
He's just too good.
He's just unbelievable great. Yeah, forget good, he's amazing. Yeah, he's great, he's amazing. He's like the white Muhammad Ali. He might not talk like Muhammad Ali, but he is the Muhammad Ali of the last generation. You understand? We have to give him the credit where it's due. Yeah. He is that guy.
When asked about the possibility of a match with Oleksandr Usyk, Beterbiev didn't hesitate to shut the door. He admitted Usyk is simply too big, too strong, and too good to make such a bout realistic. While he acknowledged that if Usyk ever returned to light heavyweight it could happen, he ruled out the idea at cruiserweight or above, making it clear that stepping into the ring with the Ukrainian powerhouse at those weights just isn't an option. And this shows that even amazing boxers shy away from Oleksandr, but what makes Jake Paul think he can take him on?
But can we see, is it possible at all that we see a rematch from the amateurs, you against Oleksandr Usyk at like a catch weight or something?
No, he's too strong to me, He's like heavyweight, he's too strong.
But he said that he might come back down weight again.
Even he come back down. Yeah, if he come back to light heavyweight, no problem.
Yeah. But not even at cruiserweight. Cruiserweight is still too big.
No, he's too strong. He's too good to,
So here's the real question. Should a boxing superstar like Usyk actually fight Jake Paul? Jake's shown he's serious about the sport, improving each time out, but Usyk is on another level entirely, a proven legend. If that fight ever happens, it would be one of the wildest matchups boxing has ever seen. Do you think Jake could rise to the occasion, or would Usyk simply be too much? Drop your predictions in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates from the fight world.